And I said, well, why didn't you do anything? Why didn't you stop them? I got no reply. Later on that evening, for a brief time, everybody had left for a real short period of time. I contacted him yet again and said, hey, if you want to stop this, just send some people over, lock the doors. Simple as that. Everyone's gone. And nothing. I heard nothing until the next morning. And it was just kind of chaotic then. It was the impression that I got no one knew what was going on. It was just a complete debacle. I mean, it was unbelievable to watch. It was very unorganized from my point. Uh, from the area that I was in, it was nobody was listening to anybody. Nobody was working together. Um, who knows? I mean, maybe they really didn't have anybody on the ground at that point, but obviously they did later on. That's for sure. So, and
So, what was the next step after that done? I mean, did you get commands or orders from anywhere else to do anything else? And you did say that there were some people on the terror watch list that they were talking about. I mean, can you tell us anybody? I mean, for operational security or your own safety, maybe you don't want to. So, but which is perfectly fine.
no, it's not really a safety issue. I'm not too worried about it. There was a couple people that were from the initial Bundy Ranch. Um, I don't remember the guy's name, but the sniper there, was on the cover of all the papers and everything. He was a person of interest, and basically, I was just sent a few photos, and do you see these guys?
Right. Okay.
Um, and the photos I got, none of those people looked familiar to me.
Right. Are you able to provide documentation in any of those photos, or are they property of the U.S.
Oh,
government? Or
no, I've got everything.
all right, if you could
I
email
could,
me those, that would be great. I could actually post some of that up in here.
okay, and even with the being at the governor's office and stuff, I had to sign a logbook and everything, so there's record of that.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Well, none of this is awesome, but at least we can document this because believe me, everybody listening is going to have their own opinion and accusations as well. You know that. So, all
Oh,
right.
absolutely, and everything should be questioned, in my opinion. I mean,
Right.
it's kind of surreal in a lot of ways.
Right. So, okay. So next, let's just call this day two.
Well, day two, it was really nothing. There was nothing for quite a while, almost a week. Um, just everything was in limbo, and I don't even mean just with me and myself not knowing what to do. It seemed like nobody knew what to do, and it was a very boring week. Let's put it that way.
Right. And so
I was then
then,
asked.
right.
Oh,
And
go
then,
ahead.
so, okay. Well, then let's just climb up to where things actually started to happen then.
Roughly about a week later, I was asked if I can get into the refuge because I did know some of the occupiers, some on good terms, some not so good, but it didn't matter. I said, yeah, I can get in the refuge. It was actually the word they used was compensation. There would be decent compensation with this, uh, and I said sure. And my goal the whole time was just end things peacefully. Um, I, from my point of view, there were some people there. Ammon, he had a message. A lot of those guys, they had a very, very good message. They were dead on with their message. And there were others there that did appear to have an agenda, if you will. But
Right.
I was for Ammon's message. To me, it doesn't matter if you agree with the route they took, how they did things. The message was right. And that, I think, that division with the two separate issues kind of, I think, threw the FBI off. I don't think they knew what to think, what to make of it. And next thing we knew, um, one of the people that I had some problems with, uh, we had some words, and I started receiving some threats, and my family as well. And at that time, Joint Terrorism Task Force told me, "Well, you better off just go home."
Right.
Now, the whole thing to me didn't really make sense. I did ask him. I said, "Well, if I go in there," I said, God forbid something does happen. I said, am I going to get some sort of notice? A heads up. Hey, you got 2 hours to get out. They didn't give me that assurance. They didn't leave a very good taste in my mouth. That's for sure.
So the people that send you out there wasn't leaving a good taste in your mouth, not the people at the refuge.
Correct.
Right. I mean, we were out there for a week and then another, and then the second week we went was after all this happened. And, the first week we were out there, we got a lot of footage and this just seemed like not to be flippant about it, but just a big chilled out barbecue,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, it
picnic
did at
camping
times.
thing, I mean, just everybody seemed to be, just chill and trying to get something done.
Yes, exactly. And, the first time I heard somebody, I think I read it online, somebody said, "Oh, they made a Jade Helm reference," and I kind of laughed, And maybe the second day of hearing that, I said, "Holy cow! You know what? It actually kind of does seem that way. There's something weird here." And it
Well, I
just
mean,
it seemed that way from no matter who you talk to, everybody would agree. Yeah, it's just weird.
yeah, I mean, we watched James Hill go down. We saw all the equipment go in, and we had people. I've got contact after contact that was sending me stuff of it coming in, and we never got any vision of anything going out after it was over. And we know that BLM has taken a lot of land for really stupid reasons. We got stuff warming up in Texas and New Mexico and Arizona. Actually, every damn state in the West, if you really want to go down to it. And with an economy that's about to collapse and half the world we owe money, some significant, economic powers like China and Russia and all that stuff. And it kind of makes sense if they want to cut the United States in half to Mississippi, per se.
Right.
And then just take over all that land as debt instrument, which we've discussed before here at the station and on the YouTube, because BLM is we've got records that we've chased and researched. I mean, that man is at a rabbit hole, but
Yeah, that's a deep one.
it's a Puerto Rican based corporation that basically handles debt instrument land for U.S. bonds.
Right.
Just to put it simply.
Yeah, it's like a DBA, doing business as.
Right. We have found, I think we found like 40 shell corps and a bunch of shell corps off of those. And it's just mind numbing when you start digging in it. You get in that rabbit hole, and my wife goes, "You're going to drive yourself crazy if you do that. You need to stop."
Yeah, yeah. And the whole thing, like I said, I mean, it was just weird. I mean, from my standpoint, I have my backings with cybersecurity and stuff of that nature.
Right.
It was just odd to be there. I mean, I wasn't there hacking into anybody's stuff, doing anything related with a computer. I was actually hardly on a computer,
Right.
and everything was just out of the norm. It was odd, and there were people there that just didn't seem, even some of the FBI agents that I had not bumped into, talked to or anything, but had seen that were obvious FBI or at least somebody trying to pose as FBI. It was just odd, and I've never seen so much disinfo going out ever in my life. I am on both sides, whether it be directly or indirectly. Somewhere along the lines, things got twisted up, and it was just amazing.
Right. And just to
I
reiterate,
think everybody did just a massive psyop on everybody, and everybody freaked out. I mean, that's how it seemed at times. It was that much of a mess.
right. And just to reiterate, you're not an actual agent, you're a contractor, right?
Correct. Yeah, and more military, not FBI or anything like that.
Right. Okay. All right. And so let's just move on to what happened next. What was the next run-in situation you had? I mean, apparently you were trying to facilitate a message between the governor's office or the governor herself, or what? How, explain all that to us, please.
Well, the way that came about was after I had left. Like I said, I had a bad taste in my mouth with how things were handled with me with the FBI and Joint Terrorism Task Force, and I had seen Peter DeFazio's video when he was in front of Congress, saying, "Hello, is anybody home at the FBI?" And my complaint was about the FBI, so I contacted him. I said, "All right, this guy just went off on a rant about the FBI. He's